Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends for another special feeding episode. This time I'm going to be feeding a Darkness Mythic, whom I obtained from a breeding event involving Armorclaw and Taney. This is Nightingale. And Nightingale, as I said, is a mythic and darkness. She has wings, she's female, and she's a superhero. And we can see all three of those right over here. She also showed up with lots of open rune slots, so she's very, very welcome. Very surprising, but very, very welcome. And I have a spot available for her. There are two individuals over here. No, she's not going in there. Yeah, what are you talking about? Right over here. Believe me, there's two individuals there. They'll appear in a moment. That looked like it hurt a lot. Okay, I know they're there. See? See? We got Shannara and Brienne. They're there. You just can't see them yet. Maybe they're hiding. Alright, so this is Nightingale. She is darkness. She has an evolving trait. Let's take a look at it. At rank 0, she's hardened, which means she has an additional 20% chance to resist negative status effects. At rank 1, she becomes also immune to bleeding, which is a torture effect and it's very common, so kind of useful indeed. At rank 3, she also gains a status cast for a self-damage increase. Probably a 50%, probably lasts about 2-3 rounds, something like that. Alright, let's look at her stats. Her strength is very good. Her life is really not very good for a mythic. The lowest I've actually seen on a mythic. Speed is actually pretty darn good too. You know, actually a little bit faster than some of the individual control ones, you know, the denial ones. She's going to be hitting very hard. She's going to be doing it often. But she's also a glass cannon. Important to keep in mind. Alright, let's look at her initial skills. Singing in the Rain deals low dark damage to one enemy, applies bleed to one enemy, and I do believe that is the only skill she has that applies bleeding. However, the low damage means, yeah, I'm not going to be using it. And then we have a Hero in My Own Way. Deals low dark damage to all enemies. Yeah, both of those, some of the mythics have had really good starting skills, and I've kept them in some cases. These, yeah, not so much. Really not so much. And of course, her special skill, Moon Jump. Deals heavy physical damage to all enemies, applies stun to all enemies. Okay, that's physical damage. For a special skill, that's kind of rare. Nightingale wanted to be a superhero, so when Malaire told her that he could make her one, she followed him to his hideout. She didn't know that Malaire was going to possess her and turn her into a deadly supervillain she has become. Okay, he possessed her? Does that mean that he's in there now? If he's in there, then who's in his body? I am all confused. That is a very strange backstory. Just saying. No mention of Ember at all. You know, very strange. Alright, well, you know what? She's a supervillain now, so we're going to feed her up. Because, I mean, she's a supervillain and she works for us. So let's get to her final form at level 4. And there she is, with lots of sharp claws. She looks dangerous. Alright, so we need to continue to feed her up to get skills, so let's go. First at level 7. Your Worst Nightmare. Deals low dark damage to all enemies, applies nightmares to all enemies. Well, we have to take that, but I'm not going to be keeping it. Too low on the damage. I mean, you want to take advantage of that power, you know what I mean? And she does have some extra turning stuff, so we're going to be planning for that. Alright, so let's get her to level 10 and her next skill. Body Acceleration. Removes all negative status effects from itself. Applies stamina regeneration to itself. I consider that to be kind of a waste for her. Really, because, you know, the thing is, the first part is good. Removing negative status effects, you know. That's a good thing. The thing is, with the stamina regeneration, you're going to do that, or you're going to hit charge and get half your stamina back. And she's probably, how much does she have? She start with... you know, she's going to get 90 back by doing that, so she'll be able to do her skills. So I just don't see the logic in that one. No, absolutely not. I mean, the first part is good, but I want her doing damage. I'm going to let someone else remove negative status effects from her. Alright, so let's go on to level 20. X-Scratch. Deals moderate dark damage to all enemies. Okay, so that one is a little bit better. I am going to put that one up here for now. That one does damage. It does it to everybody. A little high on the cooldown, but that's okay. It's okay. So let's continue to level 25. And another skill, Dream with Freddy. Yeah, obviously Freddy Krueger, right? Deals heavy dark damage to one enemy. Applies nightmares to one enemy. All right, so that one is very, very useful. Good, solid, heavy hit. Gives a torture effect. Nightmares isn't the best one, but it is a torture effect. And has a 0 cooldown. So she could use that one if her cooldowns get activated. All right, we're going to put that one up there. All right, so let's continue to level 35, apparently. Twilight Wings. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy, gives one extra turn to itself. I find it interesting that the skill name Twilight Wings, Twilight being darkness, is actually special damage. A little bit weird. All right, I'm going to put that one there because, like I said, I'm not keeping that one. That's kind of a waste of a turn for her. And turning is going to be something for her. All right, so we only have one more skill left, so let's get it. Hopefully it shows up right here. Cutting Feather. Deals low special damage to one enemy, gives one extra turn to itself. All right, so we're going to put that one there. And her skill set is complete. So why don't we just get her to 60? All right, no, absolutely not. We're going to see that one a lot probably, right? Yep. Sorry, don't care. Okay, yeah, keep going. Yeah, okay, well, we got a different one that time. Yeah, I don't like those first two ones at all. I just don't think they're useful for her. Okay, so we got her skill set. We're just going to take a quick look, even though I know we got it all, right? All right, body acceleration, yeah, I just don't like that one for her. Don't like that one either. And her first two skills, they're very weak. I mean, the mythics basically were getting usually good initial ones. In many cases, I kept them because they were like significant damage and maybe a 0-0 or a 0-1 in terms of stamina and cooldown. In this case, these are just total throwaways. You wouldn't want them for any reason. I mean, look at this. Both of these are 0 cooldowns, right? You say, well, you want a 0 cooldown. Well, pardon me. Well, I have... Oh, actually, it's the first one. Right there. 0 cooldown. Yeah, it's heavy on the stamina, but it's a lot more damage, isn't it? So we got what we wanted. All right, let's look at her stats at level 60. Her strength is very good. Wow. The life is just terrible. 17,500 for a mythic at level 60. I've never seen that low before. So she is the definition of glass cannon. She's going to do a lot of damage, but she's not going to take it. So she needs protection. And of course, her speed is very good. Over 3,000 for an attacker, very good, because obviously she's an attacker. All right, so let's take a look at the skills that I selected and see how we're going to play her, because after all, she's an extra turner, and we want to take advantage of that. In this case, I'm actually going to start from the other side because of the nature of the skills, right? I'm going to start from the end. We're going to start with Cutting Feather. Deals low special damage to one enemy, gives one extra turn to itself. Now, in many cases, you're going to start with this one. That's the reason I'm way back here, is because you're going to hit somebody, then you're going to get an extra turn, right? Then you move on to Twilight Wings. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy, gets an extra turn. So you can do much better damage than this, that's for sure. They're both special damage as well. But you're going to do mid-moderate damage, and it's really going to hurt considering her power and the strength runes you're going to put on her. Now at this point, you can actually go back to this one because this one is a 1-round cooldown. See, this one's a 3-round cooldown. This one's a 1-round cooldown. So she can have a chain of 3 attacks here. Now, what you do with the last one probably is going to be dictated by the situation. Let's say there's a full team on the other side, but they're all really hurt. Well, maybe you want to do X-Crouch. Deals moderate dark damage to all enemies, right? Boom, you hit them all. She's got good power. She's going to have a lot of strength on her. She might be able to finish off an entire group or make them weak for whoever's going to come next. But say there's one individual you really want to get rid of. Well, instead of doing X-Scratch, maybe you're going to do Dream with Freddy. Deals heavy dark damage to one enemy, applies nightmares to one enemy. So that one, of course, is heavy dark damage. And once again, with her power and her strength runes you're going to put on her, I keep saying that because you're going to do that, she's really going to hurt somebody. She might just finish somebody off with that. How you're going to play her depends on probably the situation. I mean, you may decide just to do this, and then go right to one of the other ones. But it's important to remember, you do want to get Twilight Wings back. So this one, then you go over to Twilight Wings, then you go back to this, and it reduces the cooldown of Twilight Wings at that point. At that point, you can do this one, which has a 3-round cooldown, and you'll have to wait in the next iteration to get that back. Or you could just go with this one, in which case, it doesn't even matter. That way, in the next turn, you could start with this, and you'll probably have that back again. So you can run through the whole thing again. It's going to burn through stamina, but I mean, there are ways you can mitigate that. Unfortunately, not with her relics, which are both swords, which is a little bit unfortunate. Anyway, she's a very strong one. She's going to do a lot of damage. Of course, the thing about it is, like I mentioned, the one weakness she has is her life. For a mythic, she has a very low life. You put at least 2 strengths on her to do as much damage as possible. The question is, what do you do with the last one? Do you try to mitigate the problem with life by putting a life rune on her? You might want to do that. Maybe you want to take advantage of that speed, put a speed on her so that she goes even faster. Of course, the problem with that is that she's going to run out of stamina fairly quickly. Hopefully somebody in her group can help with that. Maybe they have a nice relic like that, a charging banner who charges the entire party or something like that. Maybe the fight will be over so quickly because she's doing so much damage and it won't matter. But I would say minimum 2 damages for her. What are you going to do with the last one? You could put a 3rd damage on her. You could speed her up with a speed. Or you might try to mitigate her life problem with a health rune. In my case, I think I'm leaning heavily towards this speed, just to have her go as quickly as possible, you know? I'm thinking she does a lot of damage, she does it as quickly as possible, and maybe the fight's over before her health ends up becoming a problem. Anyway, this is Knightingale. She's really interesting. She's going to inflict a lot of damage, and I can't wait to start testing with her. Anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games because games are fun. See ya.